house full of guys, all my brothers. So.
Really?
Yeah, and they call it the Blue Star Mansion. So,
really?
Yeah, you going to the Blue Star Mansion?
Wow.
I remember talking to Too Short, and he was like, "Yeah, I heard about the Blue Star Mansion parties."
Really?
Just random. I was like, "Whoa, where did that even come from?" Just a random conversation. Like, yeah, it was really fun back in the day.
Yeah, I need a bag, bruh. Send it through quickly. I'm making his dog like I'm in the big leagues. Yeah, I told him I'ma hit it out of stands. I deserve another 100.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Married Game Podcast. We are the voice you trust when it comes to lust, and we are who you hire when she lacks desire. This week, you're thinking, 2 episodes? What the heck? Well, it's because we have our brother here, and his name is Spec. Welcome, Spectacular. Welcome to the Man Cave. Oh, this is fun because
So
Jessie
excited.
Joy is into music. She likes all the music, but there is a certain genre of music that she absolutely loves.
Just gets me going.
And it just happens to be the music that you have been producing for years and years and years.
Yes.
So this is going to be fun. I know probably most people go, so you're into music and you transition to business, and that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But we actually want to know what you know and what you've been through and what your thoughts are about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So are you cool if we head down that vein?
Let's go.
Okay, baby. All right. So first and foremost, is there a particular, or was there growing up a relationship that you looked up to and you thought that was the ideal? That was kind of what you wanted?
You know what? When I was growing up, I never really saw anyone in a relationship. For me, I was just having so much fun. I would just see women and just love on them. For me, my father wouldn't let me go out. He was a street guy, so he never really wanted us to go out and get into any trouble. So he made everybody stay at the house.
Mm,
And he said, "You can't leave this house."
really?
So he was really just in the house, and we brought the party to us.
Huh.
And the only thing we can have is girls over. So we kind of went down this mastery path of women, and it's just a house full of guys, all my brothers. So,
Really?
yeah, and they call it the Blue Star Mansion. So,
Really?
Yeah, you going to the Blue Star Mansion? I
Wow.
remember talking to Too Short, and he was like, "Yeah, I heard about the Blue Star Mansion parties."
Really?
Just random. I was like, "Whoa, where did that even come from?" Just a random conversation. Like, yeah, it was really fun back in the day.
Was your dad really into music?
You know what? I think he was, man. He had a record label called EKG back in the day. He actually had Rick Ross signed to his record label back in the day before he released them. And it seemed like he was really into it. I never really asked him, but I think he was living through me and my brothers.
Mhm.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got
with
it.
the
So he
music.
says, how did you learn your game with ladies then? Just your dad and your brothers? You can invite them over?
trial and error.
Yeah, there you
Mhm.
go.
Yeah, experiencing different things, and always been an outgoing person. I was the candy guy, so I had to naturally be able to have the gift of gab and be able to talk and sell my candy in the 6th grade and have people, start that relationship. And then we was always out. It was certain phases I went through as a kid to learn different things. And then my dad was a ladies' man too, so I kind of saw the way he
Mhm.
was moving.
Mm.
And I kind of picked up on that. And then I was always popular. I was going into different dance groups and performing in front of a bunch of women. So like in the 3rd grade, on stage, getting snatched off a stage, women screaming at me, grabbing me,
Wow.
grown women too. And I think about it now, they should be
Yeah,
ashamed.
you're right, exactly.
But I was doing my thing, man. So I was always in a position to be in front of women. And, it was always a love for me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice. What was the best piece of relationship advice you ever have heard that you're like, I'm never going to forget that?
Never go to sleep mad at each other.
Ooh.
Wow.
Have you been able to, has that served you well?
Not towards the beginning, because I had to understand. When you get certain advice, you don't get it. You
Mhm.
hear it, but you haven't really received it.
Mm.
But when I received it in a way where I can implement it and understand, like, oh, that's what they was talking about.
Mm.
And they kind of say, like, if you're in a relationship, long as 2 parties are not wanting to quit at the same time, it can go forever.
Oh, that's
Right.
Yeah,
So as long as you don't want to quit when he wants to quit,
Right.
and as long as she don't want to quit when you want to quit, it'll last forever.
Yep.
So those are like two things that I realized that has been really, really great experiences and advice for me.
That is good.
We go to bed angry
Mm-hmm.
because for us, like for me, I need time to cool down and to wrap my head around. And when I'm angry, I speak like nonsense, like nothing's coming out clear for me. So when I go to bed angry and I wake up, I go, you know what? This is the truth of what happened. And here's how I feel. And we talk about it the next day. So we actually, for us, go to bed angry. Like I need time. And, you know, it's not like yelling or hitting or anything. So for us, we've learned how to pause our arguments and pick it up where we're clear about it.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people, that's the advice that they love. And it really works for them. They're like, you know what? I think that most people, when they say that, are meaning like, don't go to bed where you're like where you'll say something that if they die in their sleep, that's the last thing you would want them to hear on you.
Yeah, I think that's what
a lot of people mean.
I agree with that one.
Like go to hell, and then they wake up and they're dead. You're like, oh,
right.
I can't believe that's the last thing
I think going to sleep with that on your mind being it start building resentment.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing, because when you sit into that pain or that feeling, it just makes you get angry. And you kind of start having these doubts, and that buildup starts, and then you look at that person who's like, freaking, I hate you. Right. But even with my staff, if anything happens, I want to address it immediately, so they're not dwelling on it, and it's not settling in their spirit. So with relationships, I'm the same way. I have to calm down. I have to cool down. I have to get one within myself. I get quiet.
Me too.
And they call it stonewalling, but I say I'm getting myself together. I don't want to say anything I regret, right? It's like, oh, you stonewalling me. I was like, I am speckwalling me. I want to get myself together, so I'm not saying something I regret, because I know who I am.
Right.
And I know how I am, so I want to just relax. Let me just settle in. Let me take everything in. Let me process it. And then let's come back when we both have a cool head.
Right.
If not, you lashing at me, I'm lashing at you. That does nothing for nobody. Right. So I try to make sure that everything kind of calms down and everybody's in a clear headspace. And then I come and say, what is the solution? All I care about is the solution.
How are we going to move forward?
I did this. You did this. How do we fix it moving forward? I don't want to talk about what went wrong. How did it go wrong? Okay, cool. But how do we make sure this never happens again? That's all I care about. And sometimes it's not how it works. The emotions is in it. I'm just like, all right, cool. What is the solution? Right? And that's all I care about, is fixing the issue, because I feel like the communication in relationships, when that's at its all-time high, everything else is better. The sex is better. The relationship is better. The intimacy is better. Everything becomes better.
Absolutely.
Because we're all on the same page.
Because you're connected.
You're connected, man. And you're not fighting against each other.
Right.
We're
as one.
As one.
Yeah. I love that.
I get a sense from you, Spec, we went to your birthday party, had such a good time.
I had a really good time. So thank you for inviting us too.
It was so fun. It always feels like when you get to know somebody's friends, you got to kind of come to one of our parties, when we did the Ascend, like those are my boys. We all love each other, but I got to feel like I got to come to your Ascend party. And we got to see how people view you and how they feel about you. And we got to experience the quality of those humans. And we had some really cool connections. The guy sitting next to me with the beautiful, beautiful hair.
Marco.
Yeah.
Oh man. I'm like, oh dude,
so
you are my brother, man.
Yeah.
Like, I love that guy. But the fact that there was so many people like that, Tim, I got to meet all these really high quality human beings that you could tell had heart, that spoke so much about who you are. And that you actually value the people around you. Is that how you've showed up in your intimate relationships as well? I got to imagine it is, but I'm curious.
Yeah, for me, I had to figure out the balance between them both. And I got to the point where I mastered one, but was failing at the next. Business was soaring like an eagle, but then in relationships, I don't really understand how to take that same logic and put it inside of the relationship. I would be super knowledgeable about business and marketing and sales, but then if you ask me about relationship and how you master that, is I don't know. So I had to start putting focus on that And then I started becoming better. So now I realize, okay, I got to be more intentional. I got to make sure I'm more present. I got to make sure that I am being more empathetic to certain things. Everybody's not logical. I got to tap inside of my, my feminine energy sometimes, right? Because I can be too masculine all the time. And then she's just like, all right, sometimes I got to tone it down a little bit. So I'm just not overbearing, because that's me. I'm like 99% of my masculine energy. And I'm like the 1%. Let her do her thing sometimes, or understanding that it's a balance. Yeah. It's a balancing act for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. The empathy, the emotion, the presence, the attention. That's so. All right. So when people are successful, everyone thinks that everything's always awesome. And I've looked at it. We've had a couple of really successful businesses, and even in the midst of success, there were some major challenges. And I go, I bet you the people on Instagram have no idea what we're really like. Yes, it's profitable. Yes, it's successful. And yes, if we make a couple of wrong moves, this fucking thing is not going to look the way we want it to look. You've had some success in a couple different industries. Obviously, the music, you did the cool stuff there, and then you transitioned into business, and now you're doing cool stuff there. But were there times as you were rising up in both of those where if you could pull back the curtain and go like, here's the challenges I'm going through, was there ever some times where you're like, shit is dicey?
Well, a ton of times, man. I think in business, you have those peaks and those valleys, right? You learn in your valleys and you earn in your peaks. And your valleys is what makes you optimize for that peak. And what got you here won't get you there. Like if I want to get to, $1 million to $10 million, I can't do the things that got me to $1 million. Things has to change. If I want to get from 10 million to $100 million, I can't do the things that got me to $10 million. Like it's a different process. And all of that stuff, it starts to bleed inside of your personal relationship as well. So as you're going through these tough times, your support system that brings you peace and clarity is the person that's supposed to support you the most during that valley. And the valleys make or break your relationship. That's when the significant other is supposed to step up the most, because this is when I need you the most. I need you to be my clarity. I need you to be my eyes, my ears, and see what I can't see. And that makes everything way more easier, because it's tough. Business is tough. I've been in business since 2008. I could say since selling candy. I had 10 employees back then. But real business, right? When you have overhead and things like that, you're going to go through those tough times. And the relationship is the thing that really helps you. I feel like if you have somebody that's on your side that really can support you through those journeys, that is a keeper to me. It's one thing to just have great sex and look good. But if you can really be my peace and you can be mental stimulation for me, it changes the game.
Yeah. We like to use that word a lot, peace.
Yeah.
We like to have the peace at home, to have peace in our relationship. That's the whole core of it, right? To push you forward in life is to have our peace.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Was there one that got away?
No.
Yeah. Why do you say that though?
Why do I say no?
Is it just a hard no, or just no because it has made you who you are today? All your scenarios.
I just feel like God places people in your life for a reason. And it's for you to understand what was that reason and gather what he gave you and be able to implement it into your next relationship.
Right.
And take that. And that's what I did. I took everything that I had, and then I put it into my relationship. That makes me a better person, because every relationship got you prepared for the next one. Until you finally find the one, then you don't have to have no more preparing. You are ready. Just take it out the oven. It's time to eat, baby.
I agree with that.
I love it.
Love that.
Why do you think most couples don't last, in your opinion? When you
Communication.
Look on?
They're missing each other. I'm speaking French to you, and you speaking Spanish to me. Low EQ. People they think about IQ, but EQ is important, especially in a relationship. I got to know that something is wrong. You're yelling, you're attacking me, and I'm just like, what's really going on? You had a bad day?
That's a great question right there. A lot of people don't just start off with that question. They attack back.
Mm-hmm.
When you say, what's going on? Because you don't normally act like this.
Exactly.
I love that.
That's important because you can be able to tell somebody, you can see the shift. And that's why I say a lot of things that I learned from business applies to your personal life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see when the staff is like low performing, I'm not going to automatically attack them like, yo, what's up, man? Like you was up here and now you're halfway down. Like what, like what's wrong with you? Step it up, push yourself. Come on, let's go. Instead, I say, hey, I see that your numbers dropped a little bit. Is everything okay at home?
Mm-hmm.
Now they're like, yeah, man, I'm going through this. Now I'm getting to the root of the issue. It's not the fact that they're low performing. They're only low performance because they're not there mentally. So how do I now come down to where you are, help support you to bring you and lift you back up? And it's the same exact thing in relationships. You got to be able to see that something is off and then get down to the root issue. A lot of times what people do in relationships, they just attack the symptom.
Mm-hmm.
But if you attack the root, then automatically the symptom disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I like to do.
That's so good. So good. We actually been talking about recently is just getting to the core. Like, it's not your fault. It's not my fault. What's the core of this problem or situation we're having? Then fix it. There's no one to blame. Just get to it.
So my guess is you've been through some breakups.
Mm-hmm.
What has been your best? We have 2 clients that come to us, and it's almost all guys that listen to this podcast, but there's about 15% of women that listen as well. And men and women, they handle breakups obviously differently, but we help guys get their ex back, and then we help guys get the sex back. And so going through a breakup for a guy it seems like the world is in. When she left me 8 years ago, I was just like, I was devastated, just absolutely heartbroken, and I had to really pull myself up. What were some of the things that you had to do going through some of your breakups? Were they devastating?
I don't know, man. I just don't have a lot of emotion with that stuff. My breakups is like, all right, whatever.
You're more logical about things.
I'm super logical, analytical guy. My emotions are not really there. And honestly, it was really from me growing up the way I did. My mom was a hustler. She never really like hugged me, loved me like that. Like it was all about like the hustle and everything it was super like, it was a push on the grit. My dad was the same way because he raised my mom. So they was the same personality type. My dad never really said, I love you. We gave him flowers for Father's Day. He said, get that crap out my face. Right? To this day, I think about that. I was like, I ain't never said nothing to your butt no more. That is a wrap.
That's funny.
And he never hugged me, anything. So it kind of made me this, I wouldn't say cold person, but he made me more logical, I would say. More like, I look at the logic in things, and I had to work on that. That was something that was a gift for me, but it became a curse in certain areas. So I realized that was a weakness for me. So I started to start loving more, like loving on my partner more, loving, like I just started that and practicing more empathy and emotion and, tapping more inside of my mushy self, like it's there somewhere. Let me find it. Let me push it. There you go right there. Come here. Get out of here. Right. And I started to do that. So when I have a breakup, whatever, man, I don't really.
You retreat in and think about what happened.
Yeah. I was just like, all right, well, okay, I could have did better there. All right, yeah, I messed up, right? Oh yeah, she tried me right there. And then I'm just like, all right, cool. Noted. And that's it. So it's never really a big thing for me.
Got it. What do you have any that might be shocking or surprising non-negotiables for your relationship?
Non-negotiables are you can't turn me down for sex. It's like if I don't feel like it, you don't feel like it, it's still a need that needs to be met. So we should meet each other's needs. No matter how we feel at the time. Like you might be angry as hell. It's like, all right, get this over with. Make it quick. It's like, all right, cool then. Yeah. I just feel like that's necessary because I don't want to go out and my brain is thinking men are built to hunt. So we're going to just start hunting. Yeah. It's like, all right, there she go. Like you don't want to give it to me. So now my brain is starting to think otherwise, and start to figure out like, how do I solve this issue I'm having right now?
Yeah.
And for the first time, I realized that when you get horny, it actually disappears. For my whole entire life, every time I got horny, I had sex. And it was just one time I couldn't have sex, and it like disappeared. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought when you get horny, you got to have sex.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm blessed.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
You had the ability to, for sure. Yeah.
It was one time in my life, but yeah, it's funny.
Actually, he has had sex with a lot of women himself, and he says that a lot of men, but you're one of the men who knows what that's like to have a lot of opportunity.
Yes.
And a lot of men don't have that. So they run out of scarcity. But what is that opportunity like to you? So you said that you had to like work through, like horniness goes away, or what are some other things in that mindset because you've had such an abundance? What's that like?
For what, sexually or what?
Yeah, sexually. You've had such an abundance mindset. How has that benefited you or hurt you in your life?
I think it lifts your confidence up. Me always being able to get what I want, it made me have more confidence in everything I do. I think women drives a lot of men decisions on what they do, how they do things, how they dress, how they smell, how they walk, what they drive. So for me, growing up, I just understood that element, and I felt like women is just a beautiful creation that God made. That's just amazing. And
I agree.
yeah. And it just gave me more confidence, and it made me know that in order for me to master this, I have to figure out more about women. What do they like? Why do they do things? Why do they think he's attractive? Why do they don't think he's attractive? Like, what does attractive look like to women?
Did that start early on?
It started early on.
He said 3rd grade. There was older women throwing himself.
Yeah.
So
8 or 9 years old.
Yeah, my brother, my big brother, it's like I said, he kind of messed me up. It's like we used to leave the house, and instead of saying like, here goes, some Disney movies, he would say, here goes some porn and here goes some food on the counter. Like, yo, just go do your thing, bro. I'll be right back. And me, I don't know no better. I'm just like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, all right, let me watch the movie. Watching. I was like, oh, that's nice. All right.
Yeah.
And I started exploring that. And then it turned me into this sexual being. And I just been intrigued about that since I was a kid. And I just started exploring that. For me, anything I do, I just want to be the best at it. And I just mastered the orgasm for the women. I mastered satisfying and doing things that, and I did it in a way where even my music, if you look at my music, we was 19, 18 singing it. And the very first record, we talking about eating. I can't even, you don't know.
You can use it. This is the pussy
say it
party.
all.
We call this the pussy parlor.
The pussy party. All right. So I was eating pussy at it like in middle school. Like, I had no business doing it if you think about it, right? But I was eating pussy in middle school. And that's back in the day when everybody, ew, yucky. I'm like, ew, yummy.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was a great experience for me, and I mastered that. So, and then I had to figure out, okay, it came to the point where it was just so many that I told myself, I want to just be the best at this. If I'm going to do it, I want to be memorable. I got to have women say like, yo, I would never forget that stroke.
Wow.
DMing me like from 15 years ago, like 20 years ago, like they're like, what the hell?
I bet some men here are going to be like, I need a course on that for my wife. That would be a whole other story, but that would be awesome.
The spectacular stroke.
Dun, dun, dun.
They're like, you're living up to your name for sure.
Well, it sounds like you created this environment where you were the ultimate chooser and never the chaser.
Yeah, I never did the chasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you said he had an abundant mindset. It seems as if based on how where did you grow up, by the way?
Miami, Florida.
Okay. So you grew up in this era and this time and under this tutelage of a dad who was great with women, older brothers who you're watching, and there's so much that is
They was great with women too.
Yeah. So how many older brothers did you have?
One, two, it's a lot. It's 12 of us. So
Oh, shit,
12
that's
brothers
a
and
lot.
sisters. So I would say 1, 2. Oh, 2.
Just a lineage of pussy eaters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. And it's like you just came from abundance in that, it sounds like. Did you guys grow up did you guys have money growing up, or was the music the
always
hustle
knew how to make money. Like I said, my father and my mom was like master hustlers. Like my dad went to prison for 12 years for conspiracy because he was, back in the day, he was doing this thing, as a hustler. And my mom was the person who had the fruit stand on the side, of a festival. Like, and we was there working with her on selling the fruit. Oh, he's so cute. Are you going to buy this or what?
Yeah.
So that was always us.
I love it.
And so the hustle and understanding the game of talking and things like that, it was just always an abundance mindset altogether, because I just saw how everybody around me just made things happen with no excuse. And we was broke as hell. My mom was struggling with 4 kids. We had a wooden frame with no mattress on it. But I saw my mom always hustling. My mom was doing all type of stuff, credit card fraud. She was doing all. Look back now, it's like, God damn, Mom, you was really getting to it.
Yeah.
But now she's a pastor. Now she feeds the homeless, all of this. So 360 turn. But
Yeah.
she really made things happen. And I saw that selling Avon crystals. It was one time she gave me, I had this brochure that they gave us in school. And for the brochure that they had in school, they would give me and say, hey, you sell this candy, you can get whatever on here. I sold like $10,000 worth of candy. They gave me like
that kid.
I was like
Sell
third grade, 4th grade, going door to door selling, hey, do you want to buy this candy?
World's
Because I
finest
wanted
chocolate.
I wanted some money. I wanted the money, and I wanted like the prizes.
Yeah.
They gave me like a bubblegum beeper. You remember bubblegum beeper back in the
Yeah.
day? Oh my God, and like a yo-yo. I say, man, all right, cool. I'm gonna do it again, y'all. I took all the candy and I kept it. And I kept all the money and I
Oh
opened my own
God.
business.
Nice.
But yeah, don't tell the school that.
Yeah, no, we'll keep it.
If y'all
30 years
watching
later.
this, I just fooling y'all.
Yeah,
I'm
keep it
fooling y'all.
between us.
Yeah.
Dang, dude. So when you were doing the music thing, was there a point where you're like, we know we're gonna make it? Because I've ran into a lot of people doing music and like, I'm gonna make it. And you're like, probably not.
Yeah.
You're probably not going. But did you
Yeah.
guys know it and think it? Like, what was the mentality?
Well, for me, I never wanted to be a rapper. So for me, I just wanted to perform. And we always was performing. We was performing like almost every week, 3 times a week. It was amazing for me. And they just added me in the studio. And when they added me in the studio, it was one of those things where, I decided that I was going to do it because my father wanted me in the group, and I became one of the popular members pretty quick. And it just really just blew up from there. But like, we never really cared about that. We just was having fun.
Yeah.
That's all we gave a damn about. It was the girls. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like we was getting,
Very motivating.
yeah, like the women was great. It was fun. We got parties at the house. Like
Yeah.
we bring them over. We have our fun and we just enjoying ourselves, and it's just cool.
Yeah.
And then the music was great too. And we just go record music. So it was all fun to us. So it was going to happen because we wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
So when it happened, it was like, oh my God, we on the radio. I remember the first time hearing myself on the radio. We was like, yo, we
What
on
song
the
was
radio. It was a song called Flossin' back in the day. It was a rap song. It wasn't R&B yet.
Mm.
And then we transitioned to more of the R&B. And that's when Grind On Me hit the airwaves.
That's the
And then
jam.
that took off.
That
Yeah.
deep voice, huh, Spec?
Yeah.
That's the deep part.
Yeah.
Thank
That
you.
took off. It took
Yeah.
off fast too. It became the #1 requested song in the history of the radio station. Because they would
Wow.
tease the audience every night at midnight hour. And then 9 o'clock, they come and they play it one time. And they like, yo, play that again, play that again.
Yeah.
They blew up the radio station. I mean, even we was calling it, play that again.
Yeah.
And it was fun. It was fun.
Oh my gosh. So you do the Pretty Ricky thing. And what got you to get into the business piece of it? Like where you go into the business that you're doing now, which has probably taken a lot of different shapes and forms. But did you ever just be like, hey, I'm going to take my focus out of Pretty Ricky and go do this other thing? Or what was that transition like?
Well, I was always doing business, but back in the day, business was never like a cool thing to talk about. So nobody never knew me for that.
Mm.
So back in the day, he was a businessman. It was like frowned upon, like a businessman. He was a like shyster, like, and
pleated khakis.
Yeah, like I said, I was in 6th grade. I used to sell $45 bags of candy, and then from selling my candy, I realized that I needed more help because I would be sold out in 2nd period. It was like 7 periods. And I was like, yo, you keep asking me, I don't have no more candy. I started getting upset. Like, listen, I don't have no more. Like, y'all, I don't have. So I thought to myself, well, I need help. So I went and asked 10 people, would they help me? And every last one of them say yes. I say, I'll give you $20 a week. You help sell me this candy. You sell out more than 3 times in 1 week, I get an extra $5. They said, all right, bet.
Wow.
They met me on the side of the school at the beginning of the school. I gave them the bags of candy. By the time the end of the week came, I was making $1,500. $2,000 a week.
You were a candy pimp.
Not a pimp. I was a candy supplier.
The candy man.
That was the candy man. And but I really was doing it because I wanted to help my mom with the bills and stuff. Yeah. She was struggling at times. And I used to go and help her. I used to give her $1,000 here, some money here, like light bill, rent, stuff like that.
How our worlds have intersected. I remember the yacht party that we met at, but then obviously Cody's like, dude, a boy spec is in LA. We're doing this thing. We should invite him. I'm like, hell yeah, dude, bring him down. That'd be a lot of fun. But this world, internet marketing, that kind of thing, how did you get into that? Because I know you've done some stuff with Grant and some of the other guys.
So the internet world, it started off from tweeting. It's a company name called My Likes that I was actually entertaining at the time. And that's when I started to really learn the breakdown on tweeting and all of that great stuff. And I started making money off of that. Then I transitioned from that to saying, well, it took me all of this time to build up these followers. And I'm making around like $40,000 a month. How do I scale this? And I realized that, well, I don't have to sit and build everything from scratch. It's people already got the followers. They just don't know what I know. So I went and did a deal with all of the celebrities and started my company called Awazar. And then I started that company and started to help different personality brands start to monetize their social media. Uncle Sam came, Mr. Facebook Uncle Sam. They realized what I was doing. They wasn't getting no money from it. So they start suppressing me in the algorithms. And they wanted us to do something called instant articles. It was trash. They weren't making no money. And then they was like, all right, y'all want to join me? Suppress them. So they figured out all the keywords that was getting traffic. And I basically went out of business. So I went out of business and I was like, God dog it. I actually went to London. I got a call. I'm still in the group Pretty Ricky. It's like, it's going back and forth. The business, Pretty Ricky, business, Pretty Ricky. And at this time I went flat broke. My dad was running all the money and I didn't have no money to my name. The only money I was getting was from the Twitter page. But when I went out of business, it was like, what the hell I'm gonna do? So I got a call, and then this guy was in the van with me. He made everybody leave. He said, hey, can I start the spec by myself? And I said, yeah, all right, cool. Everybody got out the car. He said, listen, I have a message that I got 4 years ago from God for you. And he said, right now, God told me it's the time to tell you. He said, everything that you have done so far is nowhere near to what God has in store for you. And he said to me that if you do this, these are the things that's going to happen. I said, of course I'm in. I'm scared as hell. I don't know what the hell he talking about.
Wow.
At this time, I wasn't super spiritual or anything. My grandma and them took me to church every week and stuff when I was a kid, but not really a spiritual guy. So I was like, all right, cool. That's what made me start Awazar. And then I started to make money. Right, literally that day I launched a company I've been planning on launching for like 2-3 years. I moved out to LA. I started signing all this talent. Before you know it, we was at $2 million. Now going from broke to $2 million in 2 years was a lot of money for me.
Yeah.
But God was showing me what to do and how to do it. So he was taking me through this path. He made me able to sell candy and be not be scared, gain the skills of charisma and conversation, for me to be a known face, for me to draw the people in, for me to create partnerships with people. So now they become my reach that I need to be able to get it to the masses. And then that company start to take a dip. And then I transition now to the agency model. And now I help the everyday person. And now I start helping the everyday person. And then that company took a dip. One toxic person like literally took me out of business. And I had to learn sales, marketing, leadership, customer service, all of these things I knew nothing about. Didn't go to school for nothing, all self-taught. And then that moment hit me. I see what God is pushing me towards. And that's what made me start my academy. And that's what made me understand that he took me through all of these journeys and all of these things for me now to teach the people, because this is what he wanted me to do, was lead his people. And I realized that, and that's when I created a mission to create 1 million millionaires. Mm-hmm. So that's the journey I've been on. I got 32,000 students. We're creating millionaires like crazy. We've just been pushing super hard, and it's been fulfilling to me. I love seeing people win. Like I call myself the Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou had a mentee that came into the game and people doubted her, say she wasn't great for TV, and they was pushing her away from it, and she didn't believe in it. And Maya Angelou saw the hope in her that she didn't see inside herself, and kept pushing her. And then that person became Oprah Winfrey, which became the first Black woman billionaire in the world. So that's what I want to be. Maya Angelou, that I'm creating those Oprah Winfreys, and I'm helping them surpass me, because Maya Angelou is not a billionaire, but guess who is? Her mentee. So that's what I look for. I look for people that I see hope inside them that they don't see inside themselves, and I give them the transformation they need to break through the limited beliefs and the relationship issues or personal development issues, the tactical issues, and we give them all of that. Our main teaching is based on the fulfillment of life triangle, which is health, wealth, family, and is led by God. And we're a faith-based community. We just push it hard, and we unapologetic. If you don't like it, leave. And I'm cool with that. I'm not for everybody, and I understand that. So I just take my experience, everything I went through, and I just push that.
Like the pastor of profit.
Yeah.
They call me the pastor of pussy, and you're the pastor of profit. So well done, man.
All right.
Just
there
a couple
we go.
of pastors sitting at the table, baby.
Actually,
I love your story.
Actually, I'm starting a Bible study.
Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
My best friend Garrett J. White started one.
Did he? A Bible study?
Yeah, he calls it
awesome.
Warrior Men's Bible Study, and I think he's got like 800 or 1,000 dudes that show up every week.
That is phenomenal.
And he doesn't hardly know the Bible. And I know it like the back of my hand. So
he was a pastor.
Yeah, I
and
actually was a pastor.
You guys were
From
literally
18.
the opposite.
Yeah, we went the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And
met here.
And
So beautiful.
he goes, he'll say what he thinks is true. I'm like, oh, there's a Bible verse for that. He goes, oh, really? Where is it? I'm like, what's it here? He goes, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's like, I just know I love God. I know that Jesus died for our sins.
Yes.
And I think that the church is very plasticky and pastors are fat. And so nobody wants to listen to them.
Yes.
So why don't we go tell people how to be actual savages? And we all need to be leaders of industry, because if you're broke, you can't really do a whole lot. And it sounds like you're solving the broke part for a lot of people.
Yes, I'm a spiritual person. I'm not a religious person.
Yeah.
So I'm the same way. I believe in God. I believe in higher power. I believe Jesus. I believe all of that.
Yeah.
But all those extra, that's just, I'm more spiritual. So I'm going to be teaching the Bible based off the business principles. I believe that you can be a righteous person, but you shouldn't be broke.
Amen.
So let me teach you the game based off these same principles. And I'm going to show you how you can be a great person and make great money.
I have a question I'm excited to ask you about, because, and by the way, do you know there's a Bible out there called the Business Bible?
No.
That's what turned Garrett into this thing. Because Garrett's like, I don't like church. I'm not into that. He goes, hey, everybody's so fake there. We want to talk about your wife, you're not having sex with your wife? Well, let's really talk about it. And in church, you can't say that. They're like, well, what the? He's like, no, dude, I want to get laid, motherfucker. Like, I want my wife to have sex with me, dude. Yeah. I mean, paid and laid, man. Yeah, guys want to get paid and laid.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So, do you think Jesus was rich?
Great question. I think he was a billionaire in my mind, but not financially, spiritually.
Can I give you 7 reasons why I think Jesus was really fucking rich in actual money?
Go ahead.
And this might help your cause.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when he died, it said they didn't rip his thing. This all from the Bible. If you believe the Bible or don't believe the Bible, at least it's a document that was written a long time ago that's been around for a long fucking time, and it's outsold everything else.
Yes.
So for nothing else, this book a lot of people have liked and have bought.
Absolutely.
And it talks about the GOAT, Jesus, right? So to quote the GOAT, here's what happens. At his death, it says they gambled for his clothes. Have you heard this?
Mm-hmm.
So they go, why would they do that? Because it was Gucci. It was so nice. Like, don't fucking tear it up. We're going to gamble to see who gets to win it. Step 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Step 2. Who showed up at his birth? Wise men. What'd they bring? Gold, frankincense, myrrh. They say the minimum thing you could ever, and they say, why did the wise men go there? Herod was like, find out who this is, because they said, we are going to find the king. We followed his star, and they came, brought him gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Gold to give a king, the most nominal, less king was 50 pounds of gold. Okay? Gold is more common now than even frankincense and myrrh. Nobody has frankincense and myrrh laying around here, but we're all wearing gold. So they brought him 50 pounds of gold. There wasn't 3 wise men. Those are just the 3 gifts that however many wise men brought him. It was probably camels laden down with gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They brought a king's type of thing. That's point 2. Number 3, he was known as the carpenter from Nazareth, carpenter from Galilee. Modern day term, the contractor. Why did they know him? Because he was that good of a builder. You ever met somebody so good at building that they're broke? Never happened. Never fucking happened. As he's about at the Last Supper, this lady comes over before the Last Supper. They come over and she breaks over a year's salary worth of oil to clean his feet. And the boys get all mad. Whoa, we can give that to the poor. He says, you're going to have the poor with you always. Let her do what she's done. Today's modern day salary, even in America, one of the richest countries ever, what's a modern day yearly salary? About $50,000, $60,000. Could you imagine someone coming in here and go, I got this $50,000, $60,000 worth of Dior ointment. I want to rub it on Speck's feet. And you're like, of course, $56,000.
I love this argument.
No fucking problem. I need good smelling piggies, right? Boom. Point 4. Point 5. At the Last Supper, when he says, hey, one of you guys is going to betray me. I'm like, well, who is he? He goes, the person that dips their bread and eats is going to be the one to betray me. Then he says, Judas Iscariot dips it in the thing, does it. And then he looks at Judas and he says, what you do, go do quickly. And it says the other disciples didn't know what was going on. They thought he was either going to go give money to the poor or they were going to go prepare for a festival. Do poor people go give money to the poor? Do broke people have money to go prepare for a festival? They do not. Not to mention, Judas Iscariot was his treasurer. How much fucking money do you have for just to have one dude in your entourage carrying backpacks full of fucking money?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
This is some interesting stuff that my buddy Jeremy Newsom, his book is coming out later this year. He and I cold plunge every Saturday morning at my house, and he was breaking all this down. He's like, dude, Jesus was rich. Not to mention, if you read the Proverbs, it always talks about you should be rich. Do you think the Messiah, who comes from the God of the Jews, who wrote this entire book about being rich, is going to come here and be like, yeah, but I'm not rich? That doesn't even fucking make sense. It'd be like, hey, I'm a professional singer. Can you sing? No. Well, how'd you make it? They like my dreadlocks. Not happening. You got to be able to fucking sing. So I think there's message after message after message after message where this motherfucker was rich. And we should be too.
Amen.
Amen. So those are my 6 or 7 points. I may have forgotten 1 or 2, but the bottom line is I think the dude was rich, and how couldn't he? Now I also think he probably had sex with women. That's my personal take. And he probably was married, because how could you be a Jewish man and be respected by 12 other dudes and be like, hey, Jesus, oh, he's a virgin. There ain't no virgin walking through life where every other dude's like, yeah, that's my guy. Doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean?
That's an interesting take.
Yeah.
Hey, so we're redefining Christianity around here. Hey, everyone thinks we're heretics, but I think Jesus is pretty much on our side.
Well, he would seem rich, honestly, when you think about it. Nobody's going to have that many followers, and they're not making sure he's good.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, even if he wasn't rich, they would take the money they got and give it to him.
Yeah.
So by default, he could be rich whenever he feels like it. If he wanted to raise money at any point in time, he can raise it because he has the followers. Just like pastors, preachers, like they're going to take a percentage of their income and give it to the person that's leading them. And that's who is leading the people.
Yeah.
So I agree with the rich part because it logically makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, and even if he didn't have it all at his disposal, right at, like, he can snap a finger and raise whatever he want.
He did that. The Romans came to Peter and said, your teacher, does he pay taxes or not taxes? And he said, Peter, go catch a fish. He catches a fish, and the tax money, the denarii or whatever, is in the fish's mouth. Don't you think Jesus could be like, hey, how much is dinner? Oh, it's like 4 denarii. Peter, go catch us 4 fish. Boom, and out comes. Not only that, remember that he fed 5,000 people? So they come and they all sit down and they go, we're hungry. And his disciples go, even if we were to go into town and buy all these food, people, it would take too long. As if, hey, 5,000 people, first round is on me, was not a problem. And that was not even mother than child. We're talking 12 to 15,000 people. And Jesus like, dinner's on me today, boys.
Oh my God.
I think Jesus was rich.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy.
I think, I'm a fan, man. I'm a fan.
He's for sure.
I think the church is crazy, and I'm not interested in what pastors really have to say, but the pastor or prophet, I'm interested. Hey, we're going to make some money and actually help some people.
Just
so
help the people.
How do people find out more about Spectacular? Where do they go to find you and to learn about you, find out about your academy and all that? I want people to, we want to help people in every area.
Absolutely. Man. Absolutely. So for me, they could just go to social media, incomemasterclass.com. I'm everywhere online. I am Spectacular. And that's it. Just connect with me, DM me.
We'll put everything in the notes.
Yeah. Let me know how you felt about the episode.
Yeah.
You know,
anything else that you want to share that you're like, you know what? I just want all these people or us to know.
I would just say take action on whatever is going through your mind. A lot of people wait for the perfect moment, and the reality is it'll never be perfect. If you got that dream business you want to start, just start it. If you got that crush you've been crushing on, just freaking take the shot. If you feel like you want to take a risk but you having second thoughts about it, just take it. Just do the thing that don't make sense. Kiss the girl. You know, do what you got to do. And the reality is it can go left or it can go right. It can go good, it can go bad. Well, who cares? You got one life to live. Enjoy it. Do what you got to do with no limitations. God opens doors, but you got to be bold enough to walk through it.
I love that one.
Well, gang, you heard it there. Don't be a nerd. Spread the word. Go follow Spectacular. Find him. We will put all the links and everything he just said as far as the links in the show notes. And as always, well, first of all, Spec, thanks for being on the show, man. It is an honor to have you. Pleasure. I love your energy, your spirit, and just who you are and how you show up. It's a blessing to be your friend, man. And for you guys out there, keep crushing it because that shit is contagious.